Hello everybody, welcome back to Peachy Disc Golf. Chris here with another solo video. I have a video that I've been extremely excited about recording. Today we are going to be testing out the different flavors of one of my favorite discs in my bag, the Axiom Hex. So let's jump right into it. So a staple in pretty much anyone's disc golf bag is going to be that straight mid-range, something that you can depend on just to go on a laser straight line and will sort of handle whatever angle you keep putting it on. And for me, that disc is either the Axiom Hex or the Discraft Buzz. And usually for the most part, I do tend to lean towards the Axiom Hex. This Neutron Hex has been a staple in my bag for quite a while. I either switch it out with between the Buzz every now and then, but I always find myself coming back to the Hex. And I really like the way that it feels in the hand. It's got like a nice, it's a little thinner, I think. Like the profile is a little thinner and more comfortable for me than the Buzz. And I've really enjoyed this Neutron Hex. And for a while, this was pretty much the only plastic you could find the Hex in was the Neutron. Then the MVP Open last year came around and there was a special edition Fission Hex that came out. That's what this is here. So this is an MVP Open Fission Hex. And then just recently, they actually had a wide release for stock stamp Fission Hexes. So this is now a disc you can readily get. So the Fission plastic, this uses their micro bubble technology to make the core of the disc a little bit lighter and then put more weight into the rim of the disc. So I've really been liking this. This one was dyed by Flora, so it looks absolutely amazing. And then the explosion happened. Like it seemed like very quickly more and more varieties of hexes were released, starting with the Lazadal, the Glow Hex here. I've really enjoyed throwing this around. I don't know how easy it is to get. I think it might be kind of hard to find right now, but I've really been enjoying this. And then with the OTB Open Special Edition discs, 3 more plastic types came out. We have the Plasma Prism Hex here. So that has the plasma core with the proton plastic rim. Then we have the Soft Neutron Hex. Soft Neutron is actually one of my favorites. It's a little gummier and bendy. I use the Soft Neutron for my Envy and my Proxy in my bag. And then lastly, what I think is the prettiest disc for the hexes that I have is this new just Proton Hex. It's got this like nice tricolor foil stamp, which looks great. The Proton plastic looks amazing. Here at Chattahoochee Pointe today, we're gonna just play a handful of holes because right as I parked, it started raining a little bit. So we do have a little race against the clock here to try to beat the rain. But also, I'm throwing 6 discs on each hole. We're just gonna play a handful of holes just to show you how the different hexes compare. Is there a difference between the different plastic types? And also, I actually wanna do a comparison on a couple of the holes with a couple of the other mid-ranges in the MVP Axiom Streamline lineup. I have the Matrix here. I actually found out about this disc because Simon Lizotte in an interview said that he preferred this over the Reactor, which I was using as sort of my slightly overstable mid-range. We're also going to be testing out the new Streamline Echo. So this is from MVP's non-overmold line, Streamline discs. So this was supposed to be a little bit more understable than the Hex. The Hex is a 5.5, -1.1, and I think this is has a turn of -1.5. So we're gonna see on a couple of holes here. We'll give this a toss as well and see if there's a difference. But we're gonna go jump over to hole 3 where we're gonna kick things off, and I'm gonna try to find holes where we can do Anhyzer, flat, Hyzer, and show you a variety of shots. So let's head over to hole 3. So this is what we're dealing with today. Right after I finished recording that intro, I could just hear the wave of rain coming from the distance. Got my umbrella out, kept everything dry luckily, but we'll see if we're able to get this full video recorded today or not. So we're gonna kick things off here at hole 3. They did move a bunch of the pins here at Chattahoochee Pointe Park. Hole 3 is now 240 feet. You can see it straight ahead. I'm gonna be throwing this shot as a slight turnover, so I'm gonna be aiming more for like the central left portion of this big gap and try to have it turn in, and we'll see how easily the hexes fight out of that turn. I'm not gonna be putting a huge amount of Anhyzer on it, and we're gonna kick things off with the Neutron Hex first. All right, distance-wise, great. It fought out pretty much as it passed the gap, so I could have put a little more angle on it, but a nice straight flight. Next up, we're gonna go with my dyed Fission Hex. honestly, I couldn't tell the difference. They looked very similar in flight. Oh man, I'm not sure. All right, now we're going with the Glow Lazadal Hex. This one I expect to be more stable because typically with the glow plastics from MVP, they do end up being a little more stable. So that's what I'm expecting from this. Rain is starting to pick up a little bit again. Okay, that was a great throw. I put a little more angle on that one on accident. I wasn't trying to. I did want to try to have everything pretty much the same, but it held it. I was surprised. I thought it was still going to fight out. They're all very similar so far. Plasma Hex now. Uh-oh. Too much angle on that one. I'm not sure how much you could see of that flight. I threw it way too inside. It was still a good throw. I'm definitely in circle 1 still. It stayed turned over though, and only started panning out just as it was about to hit the ground. So now we have the soft neutron hex. There we go, that's the better angle. Oh, go! Oh, hex, yeah, that was a great throw. I thought that was gonna go in for a second. That was very similar to all of them. I mean, who are we kidding? All right, last disc in the lineup. Got the proton hex now. Oh no, that's gonna fight too much. A little too wide. In summary from that Anhyzer test, they all fly remarkably similar. Even the Glow Hex, which I thought was gonna be more stable. The only one that was a little different to me was that Plasma Hex, and I'm pretty sure it's because I just put more angle on it and I threw it way more inside. So I'm gonna be interested to see how it holds up to the Hyzer and the flat test to see if it's more understable at all, but I'm thinking that they're all pretty much the same. And just while we're here, because I'm doing a turnover test, we're gonna try the Echo now real quick. This is, again, from Streamline, no overmold, and it's supposed to be a hair more understable than the Hex with that negative 1.5 turn instead. We'll see. I'm gonna try not to give it too much Anhyzer again. Oh, that went long. Wow. That is a great disc. I felt like I actually threw that on a pretty similar angle to most of my Hex throws, but it definitely did turn a little bit more. So it flies great. I felt like that went a little longer than the Hexes, even just a little less effort because of that little more understability. I'm liking it. The next hole we're gonna play is hole 6. They moved the pin into the long left position, so it's 235 feet now. And we have a wide open shot. The obvious play is to just throw it flat at the basket, but because we have so much space, I'm actually gonna go with Hyzer releases just to see if how they flip up or if they hold the Hyzer, and they're gonna hold the Hyzer for my arm speed at least, but we're gonna start same order, neutron hex first. Oh, that had a nice flip. Nice, that should be 5 feet or so. It looks pretty good. Next up, we'll go with the Fission Hex. Not too much flip with that, a little higher, but still circle 1. I threw it too high, so it didn't get as much distance, but didn't really flip up. I think I got more snap on the first throw, which is why it did flip up. That one sort of slipped out of my hands a little bit. All right, Lazadal next. Oh, that slipped out of my hands too, but that had a nice flip. Dang, that was gonna be a nice throw if it didn't slip out of my hands. It's getting tough because some of these discs are so damp now from the rain, but it did flip up even with my like weak grip. All right, next up, Plasma. See if I can keep this one in my hands. That was a good throw and a nice flip. Go in. Ooh, just a little short. That was an extremely good throw. Soft neutron hex now. Can I replicate that? Not as much flip. That actually felt like a good release, but it didn't flip up quite as much as any of the other ones did, I felt like. Last up, proton hex. Ooh, that was a great release. Oh man, that's pinned. That was so good. That was excellent. Trying to get as many of these hex puns in as I can. All right, let's try to do the Echo again and see if it has more of a little more Hyzer flip. We'll see. Oh, it does. Wow. Excellent throw. I feel like I actually threw that a little softer, but it flipped up, kept going straight. It definitely started hyzering out a little later than the Hexes, so they could be good complements for each other, honestly. Let's try the Matrix now. Again, this is another great looking disc from this OTV Open Wave. So we're gonna try throwing this one flat, and we'll see how it compares to the Hex on Hyzer. I threw it out too wide, but honestly, flight-wise, it's very similar. If I would have actually hit my aim point, I think I would have landed very, very close to where my Hexes are. So definitely more overstable. Also another good compliment maybe. Hole 8 is an excellent hole for the Hex. It's 215 feet. We're in the A position here, so the basket is now on the left instead of tucked under the trees on the right. And basically it's just throwing it flat, pretty much straight at the basket, maybe a little bit right and under the hanging branches of the tree. Starting off with the Neutron Hex. Ooh, nice throw. Nice little S line out of that, nice and flat. All right, Fission Hex next. All right, nice. That should be a little 6-footer as well. Another good throw, had a little bit of a turn. Still good fade at the end. All right, next up we got the Lazatl. I love the way this glow plastic feels in the hand. Nice little Hyzer flip out of that. And I think that hit the pole a little bit. If not, it's very close. Now we're going with the Plasma. Ooh, a little high, but I think it'll be good. Oh, nice. That's right under the basket as well. It definitely threw it a little high, but it carried straight. Nice little fade at the end. Going with the soft Neutron Hex next. Okay, drop. Huh, too much drop. That looked like it was gonna, that was a nice little straight throw though. Had a little bit of turn, not too much. That one feels a little more stable, and also that soft Neutron is definitely a little more slick feeling. It might be mostly because of the rain right now. I don't know, it feels definitely a little different than the others. All right, Proton Hex here. Oh, nice. That was a good throw. Yeah, a little long actually, but that was a great little angle though. It had a nice little S-curve. Really liking the Proton. We'll try the other mids as well, so we'll start off with the Echo first, and then we'll do the Matrix also. This I'm aiming right for the basket because I am expecting it to turn a little bit if I'm throwing it flat. Yeah, it did, and it fought out just at the end. So that had I threw it pretty flat, I thought, and it had a nice arcing turn, not anything that was gonna turn over or anything. And then just at the very end, it started to flatten out. So I think that'll be a really nice Hyzer flip disc actually. All right, last up, the Matrix. Ooh, that's got some beef at the end. That looked like it was tracking to the basket, but then I could just see it checking up right as it was getting to that tree at the end. That definitely has more beef. I think I'm gonna keep that as a more overstable option. All right, last hole we're gonna play today. Hole 13, 250 feet, straight ahead, wide open shot. We're gonna go ahead and throw all these mids nice and hard, maybe a little Hyzer, not too much though, and let's just see how far we can get. Starting with Neutron Hex first. Threw that a little Hyzer, gonna be short. Not throwing that one flat very well. All right, next up, Fission Hex. All right, circle one look there. Had a little turn, still fought back though. Next up, Glow Hex, Lazatl. Ooh, nice and flat for that one. And a nice little fade at the end. That is a nice easy birdie as well. All right, soft Neutron Hex. Okay, that was a little short, but it did have a nice little S-line though. So I like the way that one flies. That one definitely is a little harder to grip from the rest, at least in this rainy weather. So that's something that I'll have to consider when choosing. Okay, Plasma Hex. Rain's coming back. Oh, that's a good throw. Little turn. Short, but it has a nice flight. It had a little turn to it. It slipped out a bit, but the rain's coming. What can you do? All right, last hex here. Proton hex. Let's see if we can get this off before it starts pouring. Jeez. Oh, a nice little turn. That's gonna be a good throw, I think. Yep. That's probably 6-7 feet from the basket. I'm really liking the proton one. This can only go well. Throw the other two as well. Start with the Echo. I'm gonna put Hyzer on this. Oh, not enough Hyzer and way too wide. Good distance though, over the hill. Yep. I'm rushing these now. We were supposed to get some rain that was constant. I think that's what this is. So got to finish this up quick. Last disc, matrix. Oh, that slipped. Oh, but that's a great throw. I put a little Anhyzer on it on accident. Oh, that was a terrible throw. I lied. That was so short. Woo. All right, I guess that was some extremely good luck. We managed to finish just in time to get all of these hexes tested out. Unfortunately, I did have to rush this last hole. I still think I had some pretty good comparisons though, where we can check the hexes out. So all in all, pretty short. They're all pretty much the same for my arm speed. Like even things like, I thought this Lazadal was gonna be more overstable, but I'm not noticing that much. Maybe it has a little bit stronger finish or not quite as much turn, but it's very similar to a point where there's really not much difference for me and my arm speed with choosing one of the hexes to go in the bag. I can tell you though, personally, it is going to be this proton hex because, I mean, it is beautiful. Look at how pretty this disc is. This is probably one of the prettiest discs I have in my bag, so this is the one that's gonna go in. If I was gonna put a second hex in the bag for some reason, it probably would be this Lazadal. Mentally, I still think it's gonna be more overstable, so I do tend to throw this a little bit harder and more confidently. So that might be a reason enough alone to put this in. I don't think though that these are like complements or anything. I think they do fly in general pretty much the same. However, these two mid-ranges might be good complements to put in the bag along with the hex for sure. I know that this matrix is going in the bag. One, it's beautiful. I love the stamp, I love the colors. I really like the way that this disc looks in the air. But also, it is a nice like overstable complement to the hex. It does have a slight flip if I throw it fast enough, but not anything that's gonna flip over, and it does have a much stronger fade, I think, than the hex does. It checks up a little earlier as well. So I do like that a lot. This one will definitely be going in the bag. And then the Echo here is another disc that I am finding myself enjoying throwing. It's definitely a little bit more understable than the hex, though I don't know. Right now I do have space for this in the bag. But if I were to add in some drivers back in right now, I took out all of my, anything over a 9 speed. All of those are out of the bag, so that opened up some slots for more fairways and more mid-ranges. So right now this is in the bag for me as a slightly, I could basically throw a similar hex line with less power. So if I needed more control, maybe in the woods or something, I might throw this. Or if I wanted something to go with a little bit more turn, but not quite as much as my Peach, then I would throw this as well. But I can see this coming out of the bag. They are very similar. I don't find this one like completely burning over too much either. It always ends up panning out, even if it's at the very end of the flight. But I really like throwing this. And this soft proton plastic, I didn't mention that it was soft proton. It feels great in this Streamline mold. So I'm enjoying this disc right now as well. But that is going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. If you enjoyed watching this hex comparison, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and ring that notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes out. Until next time, guys, cheers.